Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Full court rules 2020 extension of DPP was lawful. Policeman dead after motorcycle hits cow in Westmoreland. And later in sports, Sunshine Girls stay perfect at Netball World Cup. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here are the details. The full court has ruled that the 2020 extension granted to the island's chief prosecutor, Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn, for her to remain in her post was lawful. Double murder convict Mervyn Cameron, who is represented by attorney Hugh Wildman, filed a suit in February challenging the legality of the extension. Justice Lorna Shelley Williams handed down the ruling this morning.
Could not have taken place until the end of the DPP's tenure. Secondly, Section 96(1)(b) of the Constitution allows for the extension to be granted after the DPP has attained the age of 60. However, the agreement must have been arrived at before she turned 60. As previously stated in my judgment, I find that the agreement to extend the tenure of the DPP had been concluded before the DPP attained the age of 60. That agreement was evidenced by the Extraordinary Gazette of the 26th of August 2020. I find that the agreement was made prior to the 21st of September 2020. Whether the effective date was the 21st or the 22nd of submission. Mr. Wildman, I note, had referenced in his submission about inquiries being made about a second extension being granted to the DPP. That issue is not before the court, and it was not raised in the fixed date claim form.
Ms. Llewellyn was due to retire in September 2020 when she turned 60. However, her term was extended by 3 years. Residents in Little London, Westmoreland are calling on the farmers to control their animals. This following the death of a policeman on Sunday after his motorcycle hit a cow. Dwayne Anderson reports.
What's been a pretty uneventful and straightforward period for the Westmoreland police here over the last 3 days took a nightmarish turn sometime this evening, Sunday evening, when a member of the police department here in Westmoreland who was traveling here along the New Hope District Main Road crashed and died. We understand he was on his way from Negril to Savannah Lamar when his motorcycle, his police assigned motorcycle, crashed into a cow here along the main road. We understand he was working at the Wet and Wild party in Negril, and he was on his way to Savannah Lamar with the hope of returning to Negril for another party where he was assigned to continue working for the night.
Yeah, me irks when me people me see cow in the road and man. And me run come out and see one long line of traffic. Me see soldier come and take off his weapon and thing and then gone with it. And me feel see me because I could have anybody else.
So one butcher from here in the community who we spoke with said he has begun severing the animal with the hope of, salvaging some of the meat. He says since the incident only happened about an hour ago, the meat is still fit for consumption.
Yeah, man, what do you use, man? A salami, man. You're doing salami. Yeah, everything good, man.
Even though it was involved in an accident, it is still useful?
Yeah, man, it's still good.
Now, despite its usefulness to him and maybe some others, all the residents are concerned about the number of animals roaming these streets at night.
The cow, them create a lot of damage, man. Like bike, man, car, man, everything I mash up out of there, If you do catch them, you must say a thief them.
In addition to this incident, you familiar with any other incident involving the cows in this area?
Yeah, about Monday.
What happened?
About Monday, a bike man scratched here.
Reporting from Westmoreland, I'm Dwayne Anderson for TVJ News.
General Secretary of the Police Federation Corporal Arlene McBeam says the interdiction of Chairman Corporal Rohan James is a fight against all members of the force. Corporal James was interdicted following statements made at the funeral of a slain police officer. Corporal McBeam says the Federation will continue its advocacy for all rank-and-file members of the force.
Coming to the Police Federation chairman. It means that it's an interdiction of every constable, every corporal, every sergeant, every inspector of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. It means it's an assault on the freedom of speech. But I can tell you today, as a symbolic moment at this funeral service for Ramon Evans, that his legacy will continue. We will not stop as a police federation to fight for the hard-working men and women.
She was speaking Sunday at the funeral service for Constable Ramon Evans, who was killed in a crash along the North-South Highway in May.
Ramon gave quality service to the Jamaica Constabulary Force in spite of the deficiencies he faced on a daily basis. He's an astute, intelligent, fun-loving, committed young man. One who, even though his weakness was seen, he tried and tried and tried again. He believed in shining beyond all circumstances, regardless of the ills of life and the ills in law enforcement.
The St. Elizabeth Police Division is looking to establish a business watch group to address break-ins and robberies in the parish. The group will operate similar to a neighborhood watch. More in this report. Robberies and break-ins in St. Elizabeth have been on the rise, with businesses being the main targets by thieves. But commanding officer for the parish, Deputy Superintendent Coleridge Mento, says the police are taking steps to address this problem by establishing a business watch.
I'm happy that Inspector reported to me that already she has collected the numbers of most persons who have agreed to be part of this business watch. I'm going to set up a WhatsApp group, and we're going to share information. You share information, and there is this response that we want, immediacy, that it is shared. And what affects one, somebody else will know, and where there's a best practice, then the best practice can be shared. So we want to establish business watch, we want to establish neighborhood watches in the communities.
The DSP is also encouraging the business community, especially bar operators, to install cameras and tracking devices like a GPS on their machines.
Last week, just a week ago, in this area, there was a bar that was being broken into. A call was made to the police whilst the incident was unfolding. The police responded immediately and recovered all the items.
At the same time, some business operators want more late-night police patrols.
I feel say police them to do more work, you know. They need to do some more patrol, you know. Yeah, some late-night patrol. If you notice, most of the station, them if you pass the 11 o'clock, the door lock. Yeah, man. The thief them have ample time to do what them feel to do.
They are also requesting regular meetings with the police.
We get across a lot of things to the police. We also heard a lot of things from the police. And we are in respect of whatever happened. And we ask, as bar operators, citizens of the community, that this meeting continues.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. There's an appeal to private drone operators to desist from sending up drones in the vicinity of the National Stadium during this year's independence celebrations. Executive Director at Jamaica Agricultural Development Commission, Lenford Salmon, says it is illegal to operate a drone without the requisite approvals from the Civil Aviation Authority. He says there were several interferences during last year's Grand Gala drone show.
300 drones being sent up in a small space. One drone can cause a major accident with those drones going up. One drone can cause a major accident with those drones going up. And I've spoken to consultant surgeons here, like Dr. Charles. They get some serious injuries from drones that come from the sky with Jamaicans here in Jamaica. People don't know. That drone can split your head open, right? So it's not a joke, it's a serious, serious thing.
And that should have been the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, JCDC. An urgent appeal from one councillor for a revision in how police records are done. The councillor is suggesting that the Electoral Office of Jamaica parish offices should be more integral in the process. The details in this report.
Almost daily, Jamaicans have to endure the scorching heat along Duke Street in downtown Kingston to get a police record. It's a situation that has drawn the anger of citizens over the years. Councillor for the Waterford Division in Portmore St. Catherine, Fenley Douglas, says the old system under which people are forced to travel across the island to Kingston to do fingerprints for their police records must be changed. He believes amending the laws governing the EOJ can help.
If it is that we have spent hundreds of millions or billions of dollars over the past 20 years to establish the Electoral Office of Jamaica, it would have meant that we have the greatest confidence in the EOJ. It would have meant that we trust the EOJ to safeguard our country's democracy, where election and putting a government in place is concerned. So I am simply saying, why can't the EOJ roll the prints and send it to the Ministry of National Security?
Another suggestion is that the fingerprints, along with the photos which are already on the EOJ's database, can be used once they are not compromised.
There are 63 constituencies, and some of the constituencies have more than one EOJ location based on the size of the constituency. Why don't we now scribe the law for somebody to leave from Negril, to leave to after 3 or after 4 in the morning, to go to stand in the hot sun on Duke Street? It is just not easy. And government, we must understand that we have a responsibility to make life easier for our people.
The Waterford Division Councillor says the revised measures are urgently needed, and if the Andrew Holness government fails to implement it, the next PNP administration will.
But it can't be done without the legislators. The right legislation must be put in place. But I just can't say, for the love of God, why would we spend hundreds of millions of dollars just to use it once or twice every 5 years in an election?
Kerry-Ann Simpson, TVJ News.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
An urgent call for Jamaicans to increase investments in renewable energy. This in a bid to slow the pace of climate change and to maximize efficiency. The comments by Scotiabank's District Vice President, Retail Banking, Yvette Anderson, comes as the financial institution launched its Go Green Energy Loan. According to the bank, its Go Green Energy Loan is pegged at competitive interest rates and offers special fee discounts. This new loan is part of the bank's global imperative to mobilize $350 billion to combat climate change and to ensure robust climate-related governance and transparency in reporting. Further afield, Americans are feeling more upbeat about the economy. That's according to a University of Michigan consumer survey. According to the newly released data, consumer sentiment went up 11% from June to July. That brings it to its highest level since October 2021. Researchers say people are more optimistic because of slowed inflation and the stability in labor markets. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Hal Shane Burke.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, an American nurse and her child have been kidnapped in Haiti. Alex Dorsainville was working at a community ministry near Port-au-Prince when she was taken. The U.S. State Department said it is aware of the reports and is in regular contact with the Haitian authorities. On the international scene, the death toll from Sunday's explosion in Pakistan has risen to 54. 12 of those who died are under the age of 12. According to reports, a suicide bomber attacked a political convention organized by an Islamist party. More than 200 people were also injured in the explosion. And And 4 Australian Army aircrew members who were aboard a helicopter that crashed into the sea on Friday have now been declared dead. Australia's Defence Minister Charles Mars says there is no longer any hope of locating survivors from the crash. He said a significant amount of wreckage was recovered. Australian authorities have launched a full investigation into the incident. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Simpson.
We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.